Hello, it's Denise from Refresh Her, and I have been refreshed greatly by the abundance of fruits and vegetables that the Lord has provided for us this summer. And isn't it a blessing? We've had some really good rains, and the Lord has just caused an abundance of harvest for the vegetables and fruits. And one of our favorite things in the summertime is to go up to a peach stand up on Roan Mountain and buy peaches for yogurt and things like that. But I'm making a dessert today that is kind of an old-fashioned kind of dessert. These are called peach dumplings. And if you've ever had an apple dumpling that is wrapped in pie dough, it's the very same thing, only a peach is tucked inside of here. And I've gone ahead and I've done the first 7 and thought I would show you the process of being able to wrap these in the pie dough. Now, if you are not sure how to make pie dough, I do have a video that I made earlier. It was the first video on my blog. You can put that in the search a little button there and type in making pie crust making, and it'll bring the video up and help you to be able to do that. But what I've done first of all is I've just made the pie crust. I put them in the refrigerator to just set up a little bit, and it helps for the shortening and everything to really make the pie dough flaky if you can do it ahead of time. And then I went ahead and I took care of the peaches, and you have to cut the peach down the side in a vertical slice, but try not to open the whole thing up. And I slipped a knife inside of there and pulled the stone out, and then set them aside and took care of all of those. The next thing that I did was you take the peaches and you roll them in a brown sugar mixture, which I'll show you here in just a second. And then you set the peach in the middle of a piece of pie crust and wrap it around it, and then it's going to bake in the oven. And then going over top of this when it's finished will be a custard sauce. So it's a really yummy summertime dessert. So let me take this over here and show you the next process of what happens. Actually, what I've done here is this is one of the peaches that I have gone ahead and I've taken the stone out of the middle of it. And then this brown sugar mixture here in my little pie plate is just going to help sweeten the peach up. And when they're so good and ripe at this time of year, they're often sweet enough just like they are. But just kind of roll it around in the sugar mixture. And the whole recipe will be posted here on my blog. But it's brown sugar and cinnamon and nutmeg and just a little bit of flour. And you can see, and hopefully I won't tear this whole thing apart, but I've just cut it. It's open in the middle here, and then I'm just going to spoon a spoon of this down inside the center. And then what I've done is I took my pie dough and I made enough for 2, like I was making a 2-crusted pie. I cut it in half and then rolled out that one half of it, and then cut that half into 4ths so that each portion of the dough will make 4 of the dumplings. And it's not even a pretty circle, it's just a kind of a square, but I set my peach down in the middle of it, and this isn't going to be pretty. We're just going to pull this up around the peach. I hope you can see well enough. We're just going to pull it up around and just cover it up so that it has dough all the way around the side of the peach. And right here I've got some extra. I don't want too much dough there, so I'm just going to pinch that off, and I'm going to use that in a second here for something else. And then just press down the side so that it seals and keeps all the juices inside. And then the same thing right here. I've got a little extra, so I'm just going to kind of carefully pinch it off. And then I just like to kind of take the dough, and a little bit of flour on my fingers helps, but just press the dough around the peach so that I'm making sure that all of the peach is covered and none of the juices are going to seep out. And they might a little bit, but that'll be okay. Just like in a good pie, it's got that good juice filling. Now I'm just going to set this, and my pan is sprayed with a little bit of cooking spray so they won't stick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the extra pieces, I just push them all together and roll them out. And I need to get one more little tool. What I'm going to use here is a melon baller, and this will just cut a little circle for me. And I'm going to put this on the top of the peach with a little bit of sugar and water, and it helps kind of keep the dough all together. And also, I like to add a little sugar on my pie dough just to give it a little extra sweetness and goodness. So that's what we're going to do here. So let's see, I've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, set this other dough aside. Now what I'm going to do is just take my dumplings here, and I'm going to take some, this is a 1/4 cup of water and a tablespoon of sugar that I've mixed together. And I'm just going to moisten the outside of the crust so that these little circles will fit. And this goes on the very top of the dough where we slit it open and got the stone out. And again, the water is just going to kind of help it to keep from coming apart. I'm going to put a little bit of water here, and this kind of acts like the glue. It just makes it look a little bit more finished instead of having that scraggly edge on the top. Just painting them with my little pastry brush. Little water on there, covering it up. Isn't the Lord good to give us so many different kinds of fruits and vegetables to be able to enjoy? We have so enjoyed this summer the tomatoes and zucchini and all different kinds of squash. You can maybe see a basket behind me here of some really different kinds of squashes that one of our church members grows. Some heirloom vegetables, really beautiful too. A peach pie is really good, but this is just something different, and this gives an individual serving to each person. I love to make these in the summertime too, with apples inside of them. And then when you put the extra dough, you can cut a little leaf out and put it on there. It really is a pretty dessert. Almost finished here. And then these are going to get popped into the oven. I'll show you what they look like here. I'll bring it over there so you can see a little bit closer. Wish you were in my kitchen with me. We could even taste them together when they're done. Anyway, let me bring this over there to you. And here we go. They're not beautiful, but they will bake up, and the crust hopefully will be nice and brown and pretty, and then we'll pour the good custard sauce over top of it. I'm going to put these in the oven. Let me see what my recipe says here. These are going to go into a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes, and then that will cool them just a little bit before we add the custard sauce. So let me pop these into the oven, and then I'll show you what they're like when they're all done.